You probably use it to find a girlfriend like Gary Halbert did with that ad.
I mean, I don't want to say that publicly, but yeah, totally.
Hey, podcast listener, you're about to discover insider tips, tricks, and secrets to making more sales and converting more prospects into customers with email marketing. For more information about the Email Marketing Podcast or the Autoresponder Guy, go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast.
Hey everybody, it's Johnny McIntyre here, the Autoresponder Guy, and it's time for episode 32 of the Email Marketing Podcast, where we talk about the top tips, tricks, and secrets for making more sales and growing your revenue with email marketing. Today, I'm going to have a poolside chat with Maneesh Sethi of hackthesystem.com. Now, this is a very relaxed conversation. Sometimes I have a plan for these podcasts, sometimes I don't. Now, with today's interview, I definitely didn't have a plan, and that can work out well, and sometimes it doesn't work out so well. But I think this one, it worked out really well because we got stuck into some really fascinating stuff, including why email marketing is at least 100 times more valuable than social media, how to use your email list for more than just selling stuff. So rather than just blasting your list with sales and promos, you can use it for things like meetups, job offers, and things like that. We'll get into that. And Maneesh also talks about why vulnerability and sharing your personal stuff and your story can just take things to a whole new level. Gets people to really connect with you. We're going to talk about the how-to versus stories. So giving away tips and how-to information versus just telling stories. And you know what I think about that if you've listened to some of these podcast interviews. And the last thing is how to get people really excited about your stuff by making your marketing about something more than just just selling a product. That you need to imbue your marketing with something more, something where people feel like they want to be a part of it. So there is some great stuff in this interview. To get the show notes for this episode of the Email Marketing Podcast, go to dropdeadcopy.com/32. Now, before we get into that, I have another 5-star review to share with you. This one is from Till Carlitos from Germany. Now, Tillman's a great guy. He was here in Chiang Mai with me, and we had coffee a bunch of times and talking marketing, talking about all sorts of stuff like that, and just a great guy. Anyway, 5 stars, and the headline goes, great insights in email marketing. John's guests are great, and he goes about extracting the real knowledge from them. You've got to listen to the show with the Reverend. I listened to it 3 times. Great stuff. Tillman, thank you for the review, man. I really appreciate it. If anyone heard that and they want to know what the Reverend is, that is episode 17, I think. Yeah, episode 17 of the Email Marketing Podcast, which you can find at dropdeadcopy.com/EP17. If you want to leave me a review, you will make my day and put a huge smile on my face. I'm not joking. You go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast. There is a link there to the iTunes store where you can leave me a review. Now, I've got one listener question this week, which is a really interesting one, and I don't think I've answered this before. So here goes. Question: how do you get a high response to your survey? Now, that is a wonderful question because, as you'll know if you've been listening, that the best marketing, the best email marketing, any marketing in general actually, is driven by empathy, is driven by understanding exactly what your prospect and what your market wants. And if you don't have this information, you could have the best copywriter, but the copy's going to suck, okay? You really have to understand who you're trying to talk to, especially with autoresponders. So here's how I do it. I have an email. This is an email that you can send to your list, and you're going to have to tweak it depending on what market you're in, but you're going to be able to use this email in your own way to get people to respond to your survey. So I'll give you the rundown of the email, and then I'll explain why I've written it that way. The subject line reads, the bee's knees of marketing. And then so basically I go, well, I talk about empathy a lot. It's the bee's knees when it comes to marketing. If you don't have it, you ain't got nothing. So you either have to be in your market, which means you understand them already, or you have to get to know them with surveys, interviews, and research. Now, I've mentioned this before. I like surveys. Surveys are great. First, you figure out what assumptions you have about your prospect. Next, you test those assumptions with pointed questions. Want an example? Go here, dropdeadcopy.com/help. That's a survey. Read each question carefully and answer the question. Then think about how you can make a similar survey for your audience. The questions are everything. Ask the right questions and you'll get great information. Ask the wrong questions and it's all a waste of time. So what are the right questions? Go to dropdeadcopy.com/help. Cheers. Now, that's the email. And you can see what I'm doing there is basically, instead of just saying, hey, I really have this is what most people do. Hey, I really need a favor. I have this survey. I'd love to understand you better and it's really going to help me out. Like, that is bullshit. You cannot treat your market like that. You always have to make it in their best interest to do what you want them to do. So if you want them to fill out your survey, never ask for a favor. Find a way to make it in their best interest. Maybe you can offer them an Amazon gift voucher, or maybe you can offer some random chance. Say you'll select someone who fills out the survey in the next 24 hours for a $100 Amazon gift voucher, and people will fill it out. In my case, I've just basically talked about why surveys are important and why you have to ask the right questions, because if you don't, you're going to get bad information. And then I just slot my own offer in there that, well, I have this survey and, surveys are very important. So you should go check out my survey. Not only should you check it out, you should fill out the questions and answer them. And so you can really understand what I'm trying to do. So then you can do it to yourself. So what I've done is they're not going in and filling out that survey to do me a favor. They're going and filling out that survey to help themselves, to teach themselves how to do a proper survey. So, and this works wonderfully. I actually sent it as a broadcast initially, and now it's in the autoresponder sequence permanently because it works so well. So you could use this same email if you're in the marketing industry, because you might be a marketing consultant if you're listening to this. Or you could find a way. You could offer an Amazon gift voucher. You could offer a free report. You have to offer something for them to fill out the survey. I'm offering them the benefit of knowing what a survey is like, but you want to offer them something that's relevant, that's going to help them with that problem. So I hope that is helpful, and it's very important stuff. If you have never surveyed your audience, you really need to start doing it. You'll find out some incredible stuff, and it will shock you, some of the things you find out. Anyway, enough of that. It's time to get started. Let's go talk to Maneesh Sethi. It's John McIntyre here, the autoresponder guy. I'm here with Maneesh Sethi, the man behind HackTheSystem.com, a site that gives you cheat codes for life, enabling you with unconventional solutions to live better, travel further, earn more money, and be more productive. But today, we're going to talk specifically about hacking email and email marketing and the way Maneesh does it on HackTheSystem.com. Maneesh, how are you going today?
Hey, everybody. I haven't slept in 2 days, so a little tired, but
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah. I'm usually a lot friendlier, but hopefully you'll get the point.
Oh, man, I understand. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's start. So email marketing. So tell us about, how do you do email marketing?
Yeah. So I'm sure your readers are familiar, but email marketing is really, really, really effective for basically sales and for conversions. I found that on my experience, it converts at about 100 cents to the dollar versus Facebook and Twitter, meaning that I value my email subscribers at 100x the number of Twitter and Facebook followers I have. That said, that means that I focus on obtaining the most amount of email subscribers as possible. So there are a lot of different things we can talk about. Essentially, how do you get people to sign up to your email lists, which seems to be fascinating to a lot of people. And then once they are on your email list, what you can do with them so that they don't lose interest, so that they stay connected to you, so that they trust you, and so that you build rapport.
Tell us about, we were talking about this a moment ago, the specific way you frame it up. I think the key element that I noticed going on, we were talking about this a minute ago, was the fundamental idea of relevance and why that's important and how you use that to build basically to natural funnel people to what they're actually going to be interested in, rather than just like throwing shit at them, hoping that they buy something.
Yeah. Okay. So I made an unfortunate kind of decision on my site where it's kind of spread out. The niche is very, very spread. It's Hack the System. So it's kind of like life hacks, but it's in 4 or 5 predominant categories. You have travel hacks. You have, it's just like how to get free plane tickets or how to get free hotels and offices. You have online business hacks, how to build an online business. You have exercise hacks, how to lose 30 pounds in a month. You have, which I'm on right now, which is why I'm kind of tired as well. Freaking no, too much exercise. It turns out that's actually really bad for exercise and body.
You're insane, man.
And then there's the productivity hacks. So you might be familiar with why I hired a girl on Craigslist to slap me in the face whenever I use Facebook post. And then building fame. So how to become famous as soon as possible, or how to, my best example of that is my 90 days to becoming a famous Berlin DJ project, where I tricked Berlin clubs into thinking that I was a famous American DJ and was being flown around Europe, paid $1,500 a night within a month of installing the software. So those are the 5 categories I focus on. And so what I found is that they are kind of discombobulated. They're kind of disconnected. So how do you, first of all, get people to subscribe to an email list? And then how do you get people to feel, to get pitched the right item? Not really pitched, but how do you provide people with the right value? One thing I've been noticing over the last 5 years, because I've been building products forever, is that you see a lot of online products that are kind of, a lot of this shit is scammy. A lot of it's really bad. Yep. People, the best way to make money online is to teach other people how to make money online. And it's unfortunate. That's true. And the more that I've done, the more I've realized that it's not fun anymore. It's not fun to provide people with products that you hope they don't open. It's much better to provide people with products that they actually value and get help out of. And it's kind of one of those games that, you kind of have to have enough money to be able to care almost. And so as I got more like refined in my email marketing strategies, I've actually probably pulled in less money because I've decided to, physically have physically make a change. So these days, when I do a course on productivity, I make the phone calls myself because I enjoy, helping coach people through the process.
Calls as the product?
No, well, one of my products that I just recently released is called getitdonein30.com. And it's like a productivity challenge. So you say, I want to do something for 30 days for the month of August. Let's say I want to go to the gym every 5 days a week. So you make the goal, you sign a contract. I call you, or my partner, James Swanwick, he hosts ESPN Sports Center. He calls you, and we'll help you refine your goal. And then you kind of sign a contract, and then you get a daily phone call from an accountability angel, like somebody who keeps you on track. And then you get a weekly phone call from me or James. And what we found is that like people really get a lot of benefit from these personal calls from me because like, I have people who lost 44 pounds in 6 weeks. Right. And they've never been able to do it, but they just didn't understand the process of like setting a trigger. Anyway, this is getting a little off topic, but what I'm getting to is that I try to keep things relevant by by creating different products for different categories and by optimizing my Aweber list. I use Aweber to identify what niche someone is likely to be from. How do I do this? I do this using guest posting. So I'll guest post on multiple sites. That's how I grow my email list. You should probably link to my article on Think Traffic, which is the best resource I can offer for how I do my email incoming marketing. And once people sign up, they are given a special giveaway series. So imagine that somebody comes from my blog post on Zen habits without hacking habits is very similar to my guest post on the Minimalist blog about minimalism and living in a cave and fighting distractions. Those guest posts are focusing on minimalism and productivity. And so what I do is I create a special giveaway series. In that case, there's 4 giveaway emails. I think that there's 4 giveaways. There's 4 emails in the autoresponder series. One of them is like a special PDF, a 30-page PDF I created just for that guest post called A Minimalist Guide to Hacking Your Habits. And people who sign up for my email list from that guest post get added to a special Minimalist incoming or Zen Habits incoming email list on Aweber. Right. And they have a specific follow-up sequence, which is optimized for their traffic. If you come from a travel hacking post, you're going to get more travel hacking incoming emails. So there's I usually put 4 or 5 autoresponders in the email series before I put them into the main list.
Okay, so you're sending them 4 or 5 emails with the the different giveaways, and then you move them. Are you moving them to another list, which is the main Hack the System list?
Yeah, I don't want to say I move them. I just basically email on Mondays and Thursdays, and so usually I'll try to. That's a lie. I don't actually do anything about that. I do email if they sign up on. They're going to get the newsletter in the middle of their autoresponder sequence, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So you're sending a broadcast out to these lists on Monday and Thursday, but every specific list gets a different AR depending on a different autoresponder depending on which niche best guest post they came from.
Yeah, and then I'll identify that by doing your 4 giveaways, 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4 in the subject of the 4 giveaway emails.
Okay.
So it says, the first email says, "Hi, thank you so much for signing up. It was really great for you to read my guest post on Zen Habits. Over the next 7 days, you're going to be receiving 4 emails from me with these. And here are the titles of the 4 emails. Expect them in your inbox over the next 7 days. First, going to get the how to fight fear, how to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then they'll get the subjects in their inbox."
Okay, and how do you find it works? Are you getting a good response with these emails?
Yeah, so actually, I am getting a good response. I'm getting a good response now more than ever since I kind of switched from being salesy or being a marketing guy to just writing about life. So The irony is that people respect bloggers, but they respect bloggers more who are real people. So it's one thing to talk about how awesome it is that you can travel the world and become a famous DJ and live anywhere and make money online. It's another thing to talk about how the fear you experience, the things that deeply affect you. I had a breakdown in a cafe about 4 months ago where I just started bawling in front of random people at a Regis office in Cologne, Germany, and I wrote an article about me just going crazy basically, and that was one of my most vibrant responses. I got a lot of unsubscribes, but fuck those people. I don't want them on my list. What I want are people who actually. What I also got was hundreds of people telling me their goals, telling me how much they were connecting, how much they really cared. and really wanted to learn more. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I really respect it when people can do that. And I think everyone really respects it because what happens is everyone has these fears and these thoughts and in their head. And then when a marketer comes out and acts like he's high and mighty, like he's the best thing, he's like he's God or something, it can be very hard to relate to. And there's something very warm and very, he builds that really strong connection when someone comes in and says, hey, like I'm just a normal guy. And then it creates this, and to me it is a bit of a marketing thing, but I think it's a great thing to do because then people kind of see which is true, that they can do it too. That whatever you're doing, this DJ stuff and all the different things you do, rather than them thinking, well, Maneesh is so special, he's just always good. You know, he's just a normal guy. And there's something so powerful about that.
That's something I'm trying to get across is that recently it's been I'm a lot different than I was like 6 months ago. The blog has gone a huge overhaul. Everything on the site is completely different. The design is new, but that's the least of the changes. The biggest changes is like a mental shift for me, moving away from a nomadic lifestyle to trying to create like a real business, something bigger than myself.
Right.
In the process, it's a big mental upheaval. And so writing about it, helps me feel clear, helps me feel clarity. And then my readers seem to respond very well. Okay,
that's interesting. So, what are some of the things you've done? So you said you had a breakdown in a cafe. And you wrote about that. What sort of triggered this switch to vulnerability, this desire to be honest rather than kind of be all salesy and promo-y?
I just got tired, man. Just got tired of like writing content that I didn't care about. And I started trying to focus more on, and I don't know how it's going to convert. I haven't really pitched a product really difficult since then, but the response seems to be huge because people seem to be like, I'm getting 10 to 20x the amount of replies to my emails as I usually do. So, I can send you some of the best responded emails I have if you want, but it's different. It's confusing because you bring people on your list who come for travel hacking and suddenly they're getting vulnerability talk. It makes sense that there would be a high unsubscribes and I don't mind. But the funny thing is I'm trying to convert these people not into buyers, but into life changers. If people take my advice and then they execute on it, that means $1 billion more to me than if they buy my product and never open my product. So what I really focus on now is really trying to get deep and figure out the motivations of people. And that's really the depth of Hack the System. The hacks are all symptomatic. They're all interesting and they're all top level. But what's really fascinating to me with email marketing and with everything I do is really behavior change and really what affects people deeply. So that's what I'm trying to focus on now. Most of the other stuff like the lead gen on my site is, get a free plane ticket anywhere in the world. That's what you see when you land on my website. It's a good story and it's a really good way to get people to opt into a list. But I care about travel hacking only to the extent that it allows you to become the person you want to become. So with my autoresponder sequences, it's about really trying to focus on helping the people who come to my site improve their lives.
Oh, absolutely. I think another really good lesson here is that when you can tie your marketing message to something bigger than just travel hacks or just making money or just like a tactical, let's just go and do this, to a kind of a mission, a grander mission that other people want to buy into, you can create a movement around that. And that can be, I think it's scary and it's a lot, I think it's a lot harder to do because you can't sell a make money online ebook. This is step one, go and create a movement. Step two, make money. Like it's not a linear step one, step two, step three kind of thing. You kind of have to feel your way into it, which it sounds like you're doing.
You got to feel your way into it, and you got to find what your niche, what your readers really respond to. If you start bringing in people from hundreds of different sources, you're going to be getting a varied audience. So you have to really make them your fans, which means they don't care about travel hacks; they care about Maneesh,
right?
And that's what I'm getting at. With my purpose on my site is to build fans of what I do and of things that they can do using my help, not of travel hacks or of exercise hacks. So, I'm not a life hacker site. I'm not just putting up articles on here's, 4 tips to improve the speed of your Windows machine. I'm trying to talk about the interesting personal experiences of what I do and how that relates to them. Also, that's one of the most requested posts is what I'm doing. I rarely, until recently, talked about even the city I was living in. It's like I've gone to probably 40 countries in the last, 12 months. And I've done some very interesting things, but I never write about it. I always write about the other stuff, here's how to do something. Whereas sometimes people really connect more with what the writer themselves are doing.
I think there's something, we talk a lot about storytelling. I've interviewed a number of other guys. We often talk about storytelling because stories just go over so well. And it sounds like, you can have a how-to post about how to travel hack or how to get fit, how to do something. But when you can tell a story where you've just gone out and done it, and then the moral of the story is, well, here's how I did it, and that just kind of comes through in the telling of the story, it's so much more engaging.
It's a lot more engaging. And yeah, if you read anything like from Joseph Sugarman or any other of the famous copywriters, they're going to say the same thing. You got to slippery slope them in, which is the slippery slope technique is where you start off with a headline, which makes them read the first sentence, which makes them read the second sentence, which makes them read the third sentence until they accidentally find themselves at the end executing on action. And almost exclusively, every single one of my posts asks them to do an action. Almost all my emails say, please respond and let me know your number one goal. Please respond and let me know. One of the series I've been doing in the last month is it's about 24 hours. What's the most successful thing you've done in the last 24 hours? I got like 200 responses to that email. People were saying things as varied as, I drove to Vegas. Somebody said, I, for the first time, managed to stay on a boat for an hour, and my wife is a sailor, so that really meant a lot to me. Some people saying things like they finally, got out of debt or bought their mom a vacation.
Wow. But
they were all excited about what they did in the last 24 hours. But what I thought was interesting is the response afterwards, because I responded manually to every single one of those emails, and I said, great job. It's good that you recognize that. Now, what are you going to do in the next 24 hours? How are you going to improve? How can you keep those success spirals up? And, you get to the point where people are executing on action and then you force them into more action. And there's nobody who appreciates your products in the future than somebody who physically got a response from you on time and then got help from you and then was pushed and then was followed up with. So, I do it manually.
How long did that take? 200
hours.
Emails, yeah.
Enough time. I'm still working on it, man. It's been, down to 20.
2 days.
No joke. That's why I've been up for 2 days. But, at the end of the day, like these people, like I just had a reader from Nigeria who finally learned how to start working on his own website. He had never had any idea how to do it. And he's been trying to do it for 10 years, but he couldn't figure out the time. And all I did was say, what if you did it? He's like, I go to work. I got to wake up for work at 5. And then my work finishes at 5 a.m. And then my work finishes at 5 p.m. And it takes me 3.5 hours to get home. So I'm not home till 8:30 or 9. And I want some time to focus on my website, just 1 hour a day. And all I said was, what if you just did your work after work before you started going home at a cafe? And he was like, that's such a great idea. I've never thought of that in years. Why haven't I done that? And today, Monday, is the first day that he's doing it. And so, small changes like that are going to be the things that cause people to buy when you actually offer some product for sale. It takes a lot of work to give away the free stuff that makes people care about your expensive stuff.
Okay. So it sounds like what you're doing, you're giving away some, in terms of free stuff though, it's not just like, I have a big problem with content marketing generally, because I think a lot of people think it's just about giving away how-to tips and just throwing just information at people. Whereas I think what it's really about is doing stuff like what you're doing, which is really finding a way to connect in a genuine, empathetic way with the people you're trying to help.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'll tell you this, like autoresponder sequences and email lists are really good for building fan bases. And there's nothing more powerful than having an email list. But once you can figure out a way to not make yourself reliant on the email list, once your email marketing is not your only sole source of income, you can really start to change and affect people. So it's great to optimize. It's great to make money off your list. But nothing makes your list more powerful than not having to focus on making money off your list. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, you're saying don't sell on the email.
I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it depends on your goal. If your goal is to make money off your website as fast as possible and then dish it, then do whatever. If your goal is to build a fan base that's going to follow you until the rest of time, you got to take it a different strategy. Okay. And for me, like email marketing was a huge part of my life, income wise over the last 5 to 6 years. But now, I'm not making that much money off the email list because I've closed all my products. But what I found is that the email list is incredibly powerful for other things. Having a fan base that trusts you, that respects you, will give you the ability to do things you never thought possible. Like I get connections to DJs, clubs all the time when I need to make a new show. Just today, I'm writing an email right now that's I have to hire a new hardware engineer for my startup company. Where else am I going to go but to my own email list? And that's going to make it a lot easier. When I need to go to a new city and I don't have anywhere to sleep, or I don't know what to do, or I want to have a meetup, having an email list lets you have a lot of freedom and social contact. And then the cool thing is once you start having an email list, and a web presence that's fascinating and interesting, you start to be able to do things offline that are really cool. People respect people with a blog in a way that they don't respect other people.
You're going to have some sort of clout. When you have a blog that gets comments and posts and all that sort of stuff, you have a presence.
Yeah, and you have like something you can show. Especially the more you write, the more viral posts you get, the more things you can show. It's potential to new people. It doesn't matter. Talk about it at a party or talk about it to a new business contact.
Right. It's a body of work. Here's the lessons that I've got from, jumping around a bit. But anyway, here's what I got out of it. Number one, be vulnerable. Number two, make your marketing about something bigger than just making money. Sell what they want. This is some of my notes that I've just made them. But sell what they want, give them what they need. So you're selling them on this travel hacking stuff. You're giving them what they need, which is kind of like a behavior change, a life change kind of thing. Unsubscribes don't matter. We didn't really talk about this, but unsubscribes don't matter. You said you don't give a shit about the people who are getting pissed off with you, right?
No, I unsubscribe people from my list daily if I get annoyed.
Right.
I just take them off my list.
Right, which works because you're polarizing people, and then you're really able to take care of the people that really matter and that really resonate with what you're trying to deliver.
Yeah.
So we got the how-to verse story. So move away from the how to do something, and tell more stories. Right. Ask for action, get people to engage. And the last one I had written down was your email list can be used for more than making sales. I think it's like meetups, job offers, anything. You probably use it to find a girlfriend, like Gary Halbert did with that ad a long time ago.
I don't want to say that publicly, but yeah, totally.
Do you know anyone who's done it?
Who's met a girlfriend using their email list?
Yeah.
I know very few people who haven't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Badass, man. All right, man. So we're about 20 minutes right now. So before we go, do you have any final words of wisdom?
I mean, do check out the guest posting site. The thing is, guys, that I've written a strategy guide for thinktraffic.net. And if you just Google Think Traffic Maneesh, you'll see this post. Straight up, if you're trying to build your email list, stop doing shit that doesn't matter. Everybody wastes so much time on stupid shit. And it just, they try doing, you spend hours on Facebook, you spend hours on Twitter, you just write a guest post. I swear to God, it works. I'm averaging if you follow my strategy guide to writing guest posts, I'm averaging 1,000 to 3,000 subscribers per guest post. So just do it. It works.
What size blogs are you doing these guest posts on when you get 1,000?
They're big ones. So when I'm getting, my 3,000 to 5,000 incoming guest posts are coming from sites like Zen Habits. My 1,000, so that's he has 250,000 monthly readers, which doesn't mean email subscribers. He has monthly readers.
Yeah.
When you have, so my guest post on Scotty Young's blog, he had 18,000 people on Aweber, I believe, when I wrote that post, and I got 1,300 subscribers, which you can see my exact post is in the Think Traffic article. So what we're talking about is writing for blogs that are big, which is, 15,000 plus subscribers will get you, if you're doing a good job and offering good content. I'll really quickly summarize the strategy that I'm talking about. Yeah. It's fine. Okay, first of all, it's networking with the right bloggers. Networking with the right bloggers is big. Networking in person is huge. Unfortunately, it's true. Nobody's going to let you. Nothing connects more than actually physically being there in person. So go to conferences, go to meetups. I did a road trip, a blogger road trip, where I took a cameraman and me, and we drove up the Pacific Northwest and met every blogger on the way there and made a podcast. And the idea of the podcast was not for the podcast. It was to meet the people, but the podcast was a good excuse. Also, I've recommended this to hundreds of people, the podcast technique. I call it the interview technique. Yep. My friend wanted to become an architect in Vancouver, which is an impossible job to get. So I said, yo, bro, just start a podcast and go interview the CEOs of all the architecture firms in Vancouver. And he did. And within a week was offered 4 jobs. Right. So interview and meet and talk with people who you want to connect with. Once you've done that, create a guest, offer them a guest post, make it a damn good guest post. I mean, I spend, 8 to 12 hours on each guest post. In the guest post, I mention I only link to one specific landing page. I don't link to my website. I link to my landing page. And in that landing page, there's a very refined piece of copy, which asks them to sign up in order to get the special bonus. And I refer to this bonus throughout the guest post. Once they sign up, they start getting the special guest post, and I create a guest post giveaway. And the giveaway is created specially for each different guest post. Doesn't need to be a lot of work, but it is different so that they feel exclusive and they feel like they have to sign up there. And then once they're on your list, they're on your list. That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
so Google Think Traffic, and you'll find it.
I'll put the link in the show notes for this episode. So that'll be at dropdeadcopy.com. And man, before we go, give yourself a plug and then we'll say goodbye.
Check out Hack the System if you're so inclined. If you sign up on the front page, you get, free ticket anywhere in the world if you're American. Otherwise, you get a free office anywhere in the world, regardless of who you are. And if you want to be a beta tester for a bracelet that electrocutes you every time you use Facebook, shoot me an email.
That's what you're making right now.
Something like that.
Badass, man. All right, man. Thank you so much, Maneesh, for your time. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you want to discover more insider tips, tricks, and secrets about driving sales with email marketing, sign up for daily email tips from the autoresponder guy. Go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast. Sign up, confirm your email address, and I'll send you daily emails on how to improve your email marketing and make more sales via email.
You'll find out why open rates don't matter and the 7-letter word that underlies all effective marketing and much more.
The editing and production of this podcast were provided by Authority Engine. Learn more at authorityengine.com.